Part 2, Fictional Geography. Hey everyone, and welcome back to UnMasked DC Primer Series. In our last video, we outlined the universe and multiverse, which is the setting for all the stories and heroes found in DC Comics. In this second part of our three-part primer, we're going to scale things down a bit as we further investigate the fictional planets, countries, and cities present in DC Comics. Back in the year 1990, when paper role-playing games were really starting to flourish, the people at DC decided that they wanted a piece of the paper RPG pie. Wanting fans to be able to play in these DC storylines meant letting them know about the places that these stories take place. So, as part of the DC Heroes RPG Guides, Mayfair Games Incorporated published a supplemental book titled The Atlas of the DC Universe, which describe these fictional locations, and will be the central reference from which we are pulling our information. So sit back and enjoy this trip through the places and settings of some of your favorite comics. As I said in our last video, each of the 52 Earths in the Orrery of Worlds actually represents a whole universe, but we use the planet Earth as our focal point. So having just finished looking at the multiverse as a whole, let's narrow our view and check out the fictional planets found within each universe of the multiverse. Now, so far in the over 75 years of making comics, DC has created over 150 fictional planets. Obviously, we're not going to cover them all. We don't have the time and you don't have the patience. But don't worry, we'll be sure to cover the most important ones. First, let's start off with a planet almost everyone is familiar with, Krypton. Birthplace of such heroes as Superman, Supergirl, and Krypto the Superdog, Krypton in many universes no longer exists, having been destroyed many years ago. Supposedly 1.5 times bigger than Earth, Krypton orbited a red sun called Rao. The Kryptonians that inhabited it, while appearing physically human, proved to be much more advanced, as through their achievements of perfecting cloning, conquering disease, and delaying the aging process, they had basically made themselves immortal. Too bad that they were terrible at looking after their planet. A series of events, including a war with a pro-clone rights terrorist faction known as Black Zero, led to the weakening of Krypton's core, ensuring that it was only a matter of time before the planet exploded. Unfortunately, very few people were willing to listen to this coming disaster. This resulted in only a handful of Kryptonians, including Kal-El, Superman, and his cousin, Kara Zor-El, escaping the destruction of the planet, having been sent away while they were still young. The whole thing seems kinda dumb, but I guess when your planet is about to explode, shooting your kids into a rocket into space seems like the better choice. There is a lot more to tell here with the history of Krypton, but we'll get to that when we explore the mythos of the Superman family. Moving on to the star Vega, we see the planet Tamaran, former homeworld of the hero Koriand'r, aka Starfire of the Teen Titans. However, like Krypton, Tamaran no longer exists, having been destroyed in war. Luckily enough, Tamaranians were able to evacuate and are now settled on the planet Karna. But while this ensured their survival, it left them under the tyrannical rule of Starfire's evil sister, Blackfire. Another planet of note orbiting Vega is Sarnia, homeworld of the interstellar mercenary and bounty hunter Lobo. Though this planet is also no longer inhabited. Starting to see a pattern here, aren't you? Anyway, the people of Sarnia were actually quite peaceful, but Lobo, who in post-crisis continuity has been written to be bad from birth, was horrifically bored by Sarnia and her people. Killing many with his own hands, Lobo destroyed the rest of the population by bioengineering a small flying scorpion-like creature with a fatal venom and releasing it onto the population. As the people of Sarnia experienced irreversible neural damage and excruciating pain for days before dying, the immune Lobo celebrated by playing thrash metal, while every other Sarnian was wiped from the planet. That is, save for Lobo's 4th grade teacher, Miss Trib. Wonder what she did to earn that honor. In our next section, we'll be delving into the lore of the Green Lantern Corps and the many amazing fictional planets that came from it, so stay tuned.